Father, thank you for allowing us to gather here today. Thank you for watching over us and protecting us and allowing us to live on this beautiful campus. Please continue to watch over us and just forgive us for our sins, God, and allow us to continue to grow and develop as men and women, and allow us to continue to enjoy being builders and enjoy the traditions on this campus. We love you and we thank you, and in your name we pray. Amen. Amen. You may be seated.
Welcome to the 2019 opening convocation. So we're all moved in and Builder Camp is behind us. We've been to classes, we've had practices and even some games, auditions, rehearsals. We've built our mound and we've begun our year. Many of you joined me a week ago, last Friday morning, over on the hillside east of Jan Stadium, and we painted the SC Rocks. As we gathered together then, I shared a message, and I'll share that message again. This is a great college. We are a great college not because of any one of us. We're a great college because of every one of us. The faculty and the staff and the coaches, and especially each of you, all of our students. We're a great college inasmuch as we are connected, inasmuch as we push ourselves in response to those around us. We paint rocks together and we build mounds together. We compete together and we perform together. And we serve together and we learn together. We are builders. We love each other, we care for each other, we care about each other. You see, as builders, we give ourselves to something bigger than us. To a class, a program, to a college, to a family, a community. We give ourselves to something bigger than us, and there is nothing more special in life than the feeling that comes when that family, when that community, when that college turns around and embraces us. That is the builder spirit, and that is what makes us a great college. This opening convocation celebrates the beginning of our collective academic pursuit as teachers, as learners. This convocation is a time at the beginning of the year where we commit to become better than we currently are. This morning we will honor the work of student scholars and our dedicated faculty, and we will be reminded of what this exciting and fun and challenging and rewarding college experience really is ultimately focused on. It's about learning and it's about growing. It's about identifying and developing the extraordinary possibilities within each one of us, It's about a college degree and everything that demands of us, and also everything that affords us throughout our lives. This year we will work hard and we will sacrifice. We'll support each other and we'll challenge each other. We'll cheer each other on, we'll be kind together, we will learn together. It is a great day to be a builder. Welcome to the convocation, welcome to the year, and best wishes to each of you for a very meaningful year. Thank you.
Good morning. It is indeed a great day to be a builder. As we begin the year, we pulled a thread of academic achievement from last spring, weave that thread of excellence into the coming year. As this convocation happens annually, I announce the Scholar of the College, the senior student with the highest GPA beginning the school year. This year, that student is Emily White, also known as Hannah White. She is away right now in Hutchinson, representing our college at a volleyball tournament, preseason tournament. And she has promised that since she could not be here, they would crush their opponents. I think we should hold her to that. Also, I would direct your attention to the back of your program here. This contains the list of students who appeared in the spring on the Dean's Honor Roll. These students achieved a grade point average of 3.7 or higher in the spring semester of last year. All of those students who might be in attendance, if you'd please stand, and we will applaud for you. Come on. Excellent job. Before I return to the podium to introduce this morning's speaker, we'll hear some special music from Hannah Breshears, accompanied by Aidan Wells Filbert on the piano. Leander has worked as a nonprofit leader, a grant administrator, a professor in both graduate and undergraduate programs, a university administrator, and perhaps most dear to his heart, a church planter. He holds a bachelor's degree in aeronautics from Dowling College and a pilot's license, which he told me he hasn't used for a long time. But we'll be flying this morning, apparently. He also holds a master's degree and a doctorate in organizational leadership, his master's from Gonzaga University in Spokane, Washington, his doctorate from Eastern University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He has spoken widely and facilitated workshops on intercultural leadership and is a sought-after consultant and presenter on leadership for transformation and reconciliation, especially in organizations that have the specific intent to increase diversity and intercultural understanding. From 2012 to 2015, Dr. Leander and I worked together at the Center for Intercultural Teaching and Learning at Goshen College as principal faculty for the master's program in intercultural leadership. Our aim in that program was to support the growth of mid-career professionals in both personal development and theoretical understanding of leadership for diversity and excellence. In addition to all this, our speaker this morning is an excellent musician, a dedicated husband and father, and a man of deep faith. It is a great honor and privilege to introduce to you this morning my dear friend, Dr. Brian Leander.
And since my dear friend Ross has introduced me as his dear friend, I think it's only appropriate that I tell you a little bit about our relationship. Would you like to know a little bit about it? So, Ross and I are soul brothers. In fact, his youngest son shares my first name, Arthur, and his oldest son has the name of my father. Now, it turns out we didn't know each other at the time those children were born. So if you don't think that we're bound together by something, you are in the wrong space. So when we met, we connected very quickly, and we found that we had a lot more in common than either of us could have known. The one thing we do not have in common is our personality types. I am a chronic introvert. Ross, as you know. I bring you greetings from Adelphi University. It's a university that has been serving students for about as long as Southwestern College has been. It is in Garden City, New York. I live on Long Island, in the very area. And I am the father of 3 lovely daughters. They are 18, 19, and 20. And before they came along, I had hair. I was thinking deeply about what it is I wanted to share with you today, and I asked about who's in the audience. I know that there are distinguished faculty here, our students who have excelled above anything that I have done as a student. And so let me just say to you students, my first thought in writing this and presenting this is knowing that you will do greater things than any of us who are not students in the room. That includes our faculty, that includes our distinguished president. And I think I say that on behalf of all of us, that we are honored to serve you, knowing that your future is even brighter than ours has been. So here's a truism. It is true, or becoming more true, that teaching well requires meeting students where they are. Since the beginning of the new century, terms such as student-centered, student-oriented, and other similar terms are commonly the way colleges and universities are defining the institution's relationship with their students. The ongoing challenge we face in higher education today is always knowing exactly where students are and how they want to be met. Unlike many higher education professionals, many of our students identify more with a postmodern worldview, engaging academia with a limited measure of skepticism and irony, or rejecting our grand narratives and even our traditions, our ideologies, and such, often calling them into question, and also calling into question how we know what we propose that we know. The reality we face in higher education on a daily basis is that our students in this generation are more worldly than we were at their ages. And many are more culturally competent than some of us are now. The students at Southwest are a mosaic of people who bring a wide variety of perspectives and backgrounds to this distinguished institution. And they can teach us quite a lot about reconciling cultural dilemmas that have been hundreds of years old. Today I believe that the colleges, like Southwest, are key towards maintaining an inclusive space where faculty, staff, administrators, and students can meet together to develop real cultural competencies that are surely lacking in our time. Yet, we should meet students where they are, but students have a responsibility too, and that is to meet us where we are. Yes, we should be teachers. We've committed to being teachers. But as it relates to reconciling cultural dilemmas, students have a lot that we and could learn from. What I'm describing to you today is a model of diversity and inclusion through reconciliation. The practice of inclusion is about embracing and engaging all who support our college's mission, its vision, direction, core values, and deeply held traditions, such as the one we shared in last night. And we should embrace these things in a meaningful way, not only with our students, but with their parents, including our faculty and staff, and alumni. Andres Tapia, author of the book The Inclusion Paradox, the post-Obama era and transformation of global diversity, says, diversity is about the mix. Inclusion is about making the mix work. In an inclusive environment, people with different identities feel as though they are valued, welcomed, appreciated, and that their skills, expertise, and knowledge are leveraged within the given setting. In an inclusive culture, people feel a sense of belonging, they feel respected, and they feel valued for who they are. What has emerged in North America at the beginning of the 21st century, in large part due to globalization, internationalization, and the growth of social media, is a more informed, global-minded, multicultural society that is challenging previously normative divisive social constructs such as race, ethnicity, and sexual orientation, with emerging values for diversity and inclusion and reconciliation. Right now, politically in America, we are living in the tension of the moment. So here's what is at stake. The economies of the world have become more interdependent. Both students and faculty are recognizing the importance of increasing students' ability to function effectively globally in the global community. Social internationalization is happening. Postmodernism is upon us. Multiculturalism is a reality. And the growth and normalization of diversity and inclusion leaves many regional higher education institutions feeling as if they have been left behind, and therefore must play catch-up to meet the challenging demands of undergraduates and graduate students who are seeking relevance, utility, and applicability from their educational experiences. Meanwhile, institutions that are grounded in the Christian tradition must continue to give consideration to students' religious struggles. Jennifer Carter describes this phenomenon as a normal aspect of traditional college student development. Carter writes that the religious struggle of our students represents an opportunity to develop personally owned beliefs associated with healthy maturation. Carter says that students are seeking spaces where they can be open about their religious struggles, while also moving towards healthy resolution in ways that provides deeper awareness of meaning and life's purpose. I would add that more and more students are also demanding of Christian-based institutions that we demonstrate biblical reconciliation. Students are aware that the churches that they have been a part of traditionally have not necessarily embraced Jesus' mission of reconciliation. They may be expecting that also of Southwest. After all, take a look around. This institution is more racially, ethnically, and culturally diverse than many of our home churches. Southwest College, I believe, has a unique opportunity to help students to reconcile their religious struggles through demonstrating relevant utility and applicability of biblical reconciliation along with learning. Lessons about how to do this can be learned from diversity-oriented churches. So I've spent, since 2009, I have been studying churches that have intentionally refer to themselves as multicultural or multi-ethnic or multiracial churches. And one of the things I found that led me to grouping them together as diversity-oriented churches is that even those distinctions serve as a way of dividing those churches. What they have in common is that they are diversity-oriented. And what that means is that they themselves have made an intentional departure from being homogeneous. And that homogeneity has been the weight of the church, particularly racial and ethnic homogeneity. So there's something happening that is orienting these churches towards diversity. So I set out to learn about those churches, and I believe that institutions such as Southwest can learn a few lessons from diversity-oriented churches. So I'm going to share a little bit about what I have learned and what you might take as learning. So these churches have a biblical mandate to actively engage in reconciliation practices. Practices that bring members together and bring the community together around racial and ethnic issues. And a growing number of these churches are openly engaging in reconciliation practices around sexual orientation. These churches openly express their values for diversity and inclusion and reconciliation in their vision, in their ministry practices, in their worship style, in their human resources practices, and in their community engagement. These leaders promote these values and promote respect for perceived and actual differences among people. This movement towards diversity-oriented churches is being influenced by people who themselves have had to work out their salvation and reconciliation among people who are different than themselves. So, as a church and a select group of colleges and universities boldly confront cultural dilemmas of our time, they are becoming expressions of the new generation of the efficacy of Jesus' mission. By implication, then, their effectiveness is bound to the mission of Christ. So, here are some challenges. As I see it, the faith that I profess as a Christian, and many of you profess, is also bound to his ministry. So as I profess myself as a follower of Jesus, I am also saying to you that I am committed to a ministry of reconciliation. Not only in my church, but in my friendships and in my commitment to serve you in higher education. I, like a growing number of scholars and pastoral leaders, take this position that reconciliation must be everyone's mission, especially in times such as these. So, meeting an increasingly diverse student population where they are, and likewise creating a space where students can meet us, requires a level of intentionality similar to what I've seen in diversity-oriented churches. Drawing from scholarly literature and my own research and experience, I used a process to identify the following 5 characteristics of diversity-oriented churches that may be generalizable to higher education. Number 1, leadership that strategically creates a vision and values that empower individuals, faculty, and students alike to foster higher levels of commitment and productivity towards being inclusive. Number 2, an institutional strategy that is clearly articulated and supported by decisive action. 3, a leadership development plan for recruiting, training, and developing the next generation of faculty. 4, formal plans to focus leadership with respect to organizational change and diversity and inclusion. And then 5, policies and procedures for resolving conflict and reconciling differences at all levels. These 5 characteristics are not at all meant to be exhaustive. There's more to the story than can be learned from faculty, administrators, and students meeting each other with intentionality for the purpose of learning and becoming creators and co-creators of new understandings that lead to increased cultural competency. So here's what's at stake. The world is becoming more interdependent. Both students and faculty must function effectively in the global community. To remain viable and impactful, regional higher education institutions especially must take their rightful places as educators of tomorrow's leaders by exceeding the expectations of faculty and students who are seeking relevance, utility, and applicability from their education experiences in the real world. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to you, faculty, administrators, staff, and students at Southwest College. Congratulations for being willing to be a model for diversity, inclusion, and reconciliation. And thank you for inviting me to participate in that.
Good morning. It's been a great start to the semester. Students have moved in and seem to be getting settled in just fine. The residence halls are busy and there's been a lot of activity around campus. We had an amazing mound building ceremony last night as the rain held off and the campus community enjoyed the time-honored tradition. I would like to share a few events that are occurring this weekend. First, as Ross mentioned, the volleyball team is in Hutchinson later this morning. I think they play at 11 this morning. They're going to be playing Southwestern Assemblies of God. And then this afternoon at 5 o'clock, they're going to play St. Mary of Nebraska. Tomorrow, they play Graceland University at 1 o'clock and Haskell Indian Nations at 3 o'clock. So volleyball has a big weekend. Men's and women's soccer will play in Moore, Oklahoma tomorrow against the Randall University Saints. Women play at 1 o'clock and the men will play at 3. Students, please be aware that the last day to drop and add classes will be this Monday, August 26th. Make sure to contact your advisor and coach before changing your schedule. I also want to take a minute and encourage everyone to enjoy the culture and the events at Southwestern. There's a lot that's going to be happening this semester, and just enjoy it. It's just so much. It's so rich, and it's so fun just to watch our students, just really excel at what they do. It's really enriching to watch that, and I enjoy it every year. So it's also important for us to remember and value our Builder family. Being there for each other, to celebrate our talents and efforts in each program and activity. We also need to take the time to support and encourage each other during the semester. Remember, builders take care of each other. So let us move forward through this year and continue our great start with confidence, hope, and excitement. So I'm going to turn it over to Hannah, and she is going to sing our alma mater. Thank you.
I want to express my gratitude, and hopefully yours, for the words, the spirit, and the work of Dr. Leander. Take just a moment and look around. And if there's no one in front of you, look behind you, distinguished faculty. Everyone that you see is a builder. So go forth this year to be hope, to be strength, to be light for one another. That by the grace of God that we might seek reconciliation, that we might seek a brighter future, that we might seek hope for the whole world by the great works that we send you forth to do. May you go in the strength and the love and the mercy of God. Amen.